and welcome to Coffee Break Blogging, where you'll learn to grow and monetize your blog in short, tactical installments you can use right away. Now here's the next episode in our series. Welcome back to another installment of Coffee Break Blogging, where this isn't just another podcast, it's a full course on building an online business based around blogging from scratch. My name again is David Risley, and if you want to catch up with us from the beginning, go to coffeebreakblogging.com to view the full archives. Okay, let's get into our topic for today. What we're going to be talking about today is securing your product, namely how to keep people from stealing it. Now, here's the thing. I know that especially when you're first getting started and you put products out there for sale, that you want to prevent people who have not bought your product from being able to gain access to it. Now, I will be upfront with you that I believe that many people who are first starting out tend to worry about this problem a lot more than they probably need to. Here's the thing. The nature of digital products is that it can be duplicated, okay? There's not much that you can do about it at the end of the day. If it can appear in somebody's web browser, and if somebody has the know-how, they can get it. Okay, they can download it. Even if you try to keep them from downloading it, if they have the right knowledge and the right software, they can get it. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is discuss the question of, should you even worry about this? Should you put a lot of effort into keeping people from stealing your stuff? So I'm a big fan of putting in reasonable precautions and then moving on and basically stop thinking about it, okay? That's what I think you should do. I think you should put in reasonable precautions. Don't spend a heck of a lot of time on it. Put some product security in place, and we'll talk about that, to keep people from just willy-nilly sharing this stuff around. But then once you've got that, move on with your life and stop worrying about it. You can't plug all the holes. You can't keep everybody from doing it. The thing is, too, the percentage of people out there that are actually going to bother to do it is very, very low, okay? It's not going to really have that big of an impact on your business. And in fact, I've heard stories out there of people who, actually managed to get sales from people who had downloaded their content for free. You know, it's just because somebody grabbed it that way doesn't mean that they're not going to become a customer of yours at some point down the road, okay? But also realize that those people, most of the time, are probably never going to become a customer of yours anyway, so it's not as if they're costing you money. And secondly, it's an extremely small percentage of people that would actually bother to steal it, okay? But it goes back to that thing I said earlier, is that if it shows up in a web browser and they've got the knowledge and they've got the software, they can get it. If they fully intend to get it, there's not going to be a heck of a lot you can do to stop them. They'll find a way, okay? Now, I want to talk a little bit here about the scarcity mindset. It's the idea that, especially when you're at the beginning and you haven't made that many sales yet, it's really easy to get so focused on this very few people that might steal something from you that you forget that you should be spending your time on making more sales. Okay? That's really where your attention should go. It should go on making more sales and delivering to your existing customers. Okay, you should not be putting that much attention on how to prevent somebody from taking it, because that is you concentrating on scarcity. It's on you concentrating on a lack of something rather than what you can actually generate, which in terms of sales and stuff like that. So I don't want you to get focused on that. It's an absolute waste of time, and it is a scarcity mindset. I want you to realize that the internet is a very big place, that most people are not out to screw you over, and that you should be focusing on abundance rather than that scarcity of those few people who might bother to try to take it, okay? Focus on making more money, okay? Now, all that said, I want to keep it in proper perspective. And now I want to jump into, how can you actually prevent people from stealing stuff? You know, realize that nothing is 100% foolproof. No matter what you do, if people are really dead set on getting it, they will. Even if they've got to buy their way into your program, grab it, and then request a refund or do a chargeback and move on. I mean, there's, again, very small amount of people that will do this, but there are a few out there. So how do we do reasonable precaution and prevent this from happening? The first thing is to use membership site software. Now, we've talked a lot about membership sites here in the past on Coffee Break, so we're not going to cover that ground again. But membership software is not all about recurring billing. A lot of people, when they hear the word membership site, they automatically think you're going to have some monthly recurring program. But it doesn't have to be that way. At the basic, all membership software is a way to have controlled access to content, to make them log in to view certain content. So what you can do is use membership site software to deliver your product. And that could be by way of a downloadable, so that you just make them log in to download it. It could be a bunch of videos. It really doesn't matter what it is. You make them log in order to get it. So that right there is going to cut a lot of people out from sharing it. And of course, most membership site softwares that are of any good caliber have protection mechanisms in there to do things like keep people from sharing their logins. That will, disable the account if they see logins from separate locations and all that type of thing. So the membership site software will often take care of this problem for you. Okay? Now, obviously, once they're logged in, if that person is going to be one of those very few people who will bother to steal it, they could. Okay, there's not a lot you can do about that. Now, you can make it a little bit more difficult, and one way to do that is to use expiring links for anything that you want them to be able to download. So instead of linking to the file directly, say on your server, you link to it using a special URL, special web address that will expire after a certain amount of time. So what this does is it keeps them from being able to copy and paste that link from the membership and go out someplace else and post it and say, hey, you could download it here, but no, it won't work for them because the link will expire. Now, there's various ways of doing that. I'm not going to get into the technicals, and quite frankly, there is a manual free way to do this with Amazon S3 that I'm just not geeky enough right now to tell you how to do. Plus, it probably confuse you as much as it does me. But there are plugins and things like that out there that can make your life a lot easier. If you're using a membership site software that supports expiring links, then it's all going to be built right into you. For you, I mean. S2 Member is one of the systems, I believe, that can actually do that. And you can just go search for S2 Member and learn more about that. And I believe they have expiring link capability built right in. There's another system that I'm aware of called S3 Media Maestro. And this is from the guys at flyplugins.com. The exact same people who made WP Courseware, which I've talked about before, and I happen to use it myself at the Blog Marketing Academy. So S3 Media Maestro allows you to protect documents, to protect videos, images, things like that, using expiring links. And it will be basically tied to the person's login. And you can say, for example, allow this link to work for 24 hours and then it's done. So, if they go out there and copy and paste that link out into the wild, outside of your site, it's not going to last very long. So that's S3 Media Maestro. And if you go out on Google and search for expiring links, Amazon S3 or protected download links or something like that, you will find other options out there as well. Now, let's talk a little bit about videos. If you're going to have videos as part of your product, how do you secure the videos? Well, again, where there's a will, there's a way. If a person wants to grab a video, they can. Even if you don't give them a link to download it, if they've got the right software, they can just play it back on their screen and they can record it or whatever, and they can get it, okay? So at the end of the day, there's not a lot you can do to stop it. You could just make it a little bit more difficult. Personally, I'm a fan of using systems like Wistia or Vimeo Pro. Vimeo is just vimeo.com, and these guys, they do free video hosting just like YouTube, but they have a pro option, which I pay for. I think I'm paying about $200 a year for it, so it's not that expensive. And I can upload all of my training videos to Vimeo Pro, and I have lots of really cool capabilities, but one of them is the option of making it available or not for download, okay? So that's kind of one way that I go to protect my videos. Now, one other thing is just to ask yourself that question, do you want to enable downloads on your videos? I mean, it can be useful for your paid customers to be able to download videos for offline viewing. That way they can download them to their iPad or iPhone or something and watch them there, and they don't have to be logged into your site in order to watch it. So you have to just weigh this out for yourself. Convenience for your customers versus making it more difficult for them to not redistribute. If you're really going to be worried about it, whatever, then you can just not allow them to download the video, and they're going to have to be logged into your site in order to use it. Totally up to you. Now, one last thing, that I want to mention is that you can use an all-in-one service to sell things. So for example, if you've just got a one-off ebook that you want to sell, you can use a third-party service to not only sell it and process the order, but also deliver that product to your customer in a secure way. And there's services like Gumroad that can do that. I believe eJunkie can do this as well. And it's a, you pay a little bit more, but it's worth it if you don't have a lot of products and you just kind of want to offload all this responsibility to somebody else. These services will do it for you, and they'll take care of the product security for you as well. Okay. The last thing I want to mention here, excuse me, my voice is messing with me today. The last thing I want to mention here is that you can have parts of your product that simply aren't duplicatable. Okay, this is a real easy thing that you can do. You can do live calls, office hours calls, webinars, things that, as much as somebody might want to download it and redistribute it, they simply can't, simply by the nature of it. So that's a great way to increase the value of your product, make your offer more attractive, but also to have parts of the product that, even if certain segments of it were out there in the wild and being redistributed by somebody, they're not going to have everything because some of it is simply not downloadable because it's live, or they're going to get on the phone with you or what have you. So that's another way that you can go. At the end of the day, these are various ways you can use to prevent people from stealing your content. But again, my recommendation is to take reasonable precaution on this. Don't spend a heck of a lot of time at it, and then move on and concentrate on making more sales and delivering to your real customers, because that's how you're going to grow your business, not by sitting around worrying about those few people who are going to try to steal it. And, quite frankly, it probably won't even happen. But if it does, consider it a badge of honor. I mean, I've had some of my stuff redistributed before, and somebody will point it out to me, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is just part of being in the business. I kind of wear it as a badge of honor that these people were paying attention to me at all. And whatever, my sales are fine. It's not affecting the growth of my business at all. So I just move on with my life. And that's probably the way that you need to be thinking about it as well. Okay, hopefully this episode was helpful to you. If you liked it, I would highly appreciate a quick review to let the world know what you think of Coffee Break Blogging. So you can drop that into iTunes for me at blogmarketingacademy.com/iTunes, and I would really, really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing your review over there. Okay, thanks so much for listening. Hopefully my few little coughs here on this episode didn't, pop your speakers too badly or anything. I'll try to do a little better next time. Okay, I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to this episode of Coffee Break Blogging. If you like what you heard here today, we have something awesome we'd love to send you. It's called the Blog Conversion Guide, and it has 9 tweaks you can make to your blog in order to increase your conversion rate to get more opt-ins and sales. As one of our listeners, we'd love to give you access to this guide absolutely free. You can get your copy right now by going to coffeebreakblogging.com. Again, go to coffeebreakblogging.com to get your copy, and we'll see you next time.